Good morning, everyone. My name is Gary McSween.
And I am Kizelle Jackson.
Welcome to Mind Money Matters. Today, we're talking about destructive behaviors that impact your finances. And Kizelle, this is important for us to talk about because a lot of people, they start blaming other people for their personal finances. But what they're not doing is that they're not really assessing and looking inward as to what's really happening from a behavioral level that's impacting their finances, because we are creatures of habit.
Definitely.
We're creatures of habit, and everything that we do is habitual, and that is what's really impacting our finances. So today, we're going to talk about some things that I know is going to definitely enlighten you and really put you on the right path to actually changing your situation. So Kizelle, you want to kick off and just share with them, some of these destructive behaviors?
Indeed. I will start with compulsive gambling, drug addiction, as well as alcohol abuse. Now, what do they all have in common? It is that feeling that it elicits, that feeling, that stimulus. What are they craving? And it's just one word, that is dopamine. Now, what exactly is dopamine? Dopamine is that neurotransmitter in the brain, that feel-good chemical, that pleasure chemical. Now, you can get dopamine from drugs, you can get dopamine from sex, from food. There are various things that elicits that feeling. Now, most drug abusers, they will tell you that why do they take drugs is because the high it may put them on, or the relaxation that they may get from it.
Yes.
But they are, in fact, telling you that dopamine is what they are craving, because more than likely they're running from something. And this habit, as you said, we are creatures of habit. So what are your habits? One of them, if you are a compulsive gambler, then probably you're even spending from your savings or your family money. You're impacting upon your financial status by taking money from where it shouldn't even be taken from.
Yeah.
So much so some of them resort to theft because they need to keep stimulating that habit because they're craving that feeling.
Yeah.
How are they getting that feeling from compulsive gambling, Gary? Basically, is a feeling of uncertainty. So dopamine is released, that height of uncertainty, that expectation of winning. So that excitement that may cost you everything.
Wow.
Drug addiction, it may cost you everything. Alcohol abuse, it may cost you everything. What is the opportunity cost to you? Is it really that valuable? Because there are many families right now that may be sitting and watching this program and can relate. Maybe you have a husband that's addicted to alcohol. It has already cost you, or is costing you your marriage. Maybe it is costing you financially, because why? He is resorting or she is resorting. I don't want to be biased because they are female alcohol addicts as well. Maybe it is costing you some of your family saving because you cannot get, some of them may buy alcohol instead of food. Some of them so much so that the alcohol has eroded the very fabric of the love and the essence of that home. Some of them, of course, is drug addiction. And even marijuana smokers. Anything that you are addicted to, I tell people, it becomes your God.
As you were speaking there, what came to my mind is people understanding generational curses.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Right? It's something that people maybe are not aware of, but if you really trace back anybody that's going through alcohol addiction or drug abuse,
And even gambling.
that is something that is handed down through generations.
Yes.
Things that you're doing on a habitual level, and try to trace it back and see who in my lineage actually had that same situation going on. And when you become aware of it, now you have to take the proper measures and steps in place so that you can correct that, because it is now ingrained in your blueprint. Money and how you treat with money is all connected to your money blueprint. And again, that money blueprint is handed down. How your parents dealt with money, you're gonna deal with money the same way. So, as we speak about these habitual things, I want you to be aware that most of these things that you're doing right now, if not all, is all stemming from your past. right? And it can be corrected because, once you know the enemy, you can defeat the enemy.
Yeah, I like the part when you say it can be corrected, because I don't want you to play the blame shifters game, saying, well, I am an alcoholic because my father was an alcoholic, or I'm a gambler because my grandfather was a gambler, or I am in this situation because of this. So you have that willpower to change.
Absolutely.
And that's a beautiful thing. We can, and the first step in changing is identifying that particular problem. Identify it. And when you identify it, then you begin to work on it.
Absolutely. Now, that word spend, if you spell out the word spend, the last 3 letters.
End.
Right? So every time you spend money, you put an end to it. The truth is, ladies and gentlemen, money has to be given instructions. It has to be given direction. And if you don't do it, money has wings, right? Trust me, it literally is going to fly away. So you have to give it instructions. You have to put it to work. And, if you're on, listening to this program, I really want you to start paying attention, very close attention to how you are spending money. Actually start tracking it. Do you know, Kizel, a lot of people that are going through tough times, they don't even know how much money they're spending. They're just spending money, but they're not paying attention to how much I'm actually spending. You're going to be amazed as to how much money is passing through your hands, and you are not aware because of that habitual nature of just spending. Another thing is that you don't have the habit of putting money aside, not just for saving, but for investing, right? It's not a part of your blueprint. So you have to now create, that habit where I am now thinking about, okay, I'm putting money aside so I can invest into something. Because again, if you don't put money to work, if you don't sow it, guess what? There's no harvest that you can get. So again, you're paying attention to your spending habits, which is a destructive habit that you have. And you are now thinking, okay, let me reduce how much I spend on food sometimes. Instead of buying food, why don't you just cook, right? Instead of, buying unnecessary things, compulsive spending, why don't I put aside $1 a day, $2 a day, $5 a day for something that could potentially bring me an increase in the future? So you want to develop the habit of investing.
Well, some of them may say, well, I am investing as a gambler because I have the propensity or the probability that I can win so much. Think about the cost. First of all, I tell this particular person who would know because they are avid listener. If you were spending money every single week on your gambling habit, count how many dollars you would have had today. And maybe if you use that same money to spend or invest, you don't need a lotto, you are the lotto.
When people are going through tough times, and this is all part of a destructive behavior, it's almost like the fear of the reality prevents you from correcting your habits. So for example, I remember when I was going through, my financial challenges, and I would be so scared to actually know the real number. How much do I actually owe? So what happened is now, because of me not really paying attention to the reality, I'm actually digging myself into a deeper hole. So a lot of people, they don't want to face the reality of what they are actually going through. So today, as I said before, you want to actually pay attention. Don't be fearful. If you are going through financial challenges and, for example, creditors are calling you, pick up the phone, answer the phone. Don't shy away from answering the phone, because you're going to put yourself in even more challenge, more of a detrimental situation than actually facing it. Talk to them.
For me, it wasn't looking at the debt, it was looking at how much the savings reduced to. So there's a part in the machine that asks if you want to see your balance. I don't want to see that balance. After I keep taking out and taking out and taking out, I refuse to see that slip. Because that slip is me facing the reality of how much I probably spent in a day. You understand? So again, we have to face our own music, face our fears as well as face our beasts.
Yeah.
Because many of us have varying beasts. And my beast may not be your beast. However, we all know our flaws, and find someone that's close to you, very close to you, that will be totally honest with you
Yeah.
to tell you exactly what is your problem.
Absolutely.
Where do I see that you can improve?
Yeah.
Because there are yes people that will tell you everything is good, yes, because they have something to gain from you. But there will always be that one person in your life who can always set you straight. Find that one person and ask, where can I improve? Or where do you see that I'm going wrong? And if gambling is your problem, then work on it.
Yeah.
If alcohol is your problem, then work on it. If drugs is a problem, then work on it. Maybe you need professional help from a psychologist or a psychiatrist. But the first help starts with you. You need to say that I am ready for help. I am ready for change.
Yeah.
I am ready to start again. I am ready to dust off and get back up and continue to run. Because we are all running, Gary. We are running from something, and don't let that be catch up on you.
There's a serious emotional connection with money. Even people who watch a lot of television and the ads that come across, the television screen, people know what they're doing, and what they're doing is they're touching your emotions in different ways to get you to spend money that you don't have. So you got to pay attention to all of these things, but edifying yourself is very important, especially in this season. Get some good books and read about the right behaviors when it comes to increasing and improving your finances.
But another thing, sometimes when we go through financial problems, we can have an issue of investing.
Yeah.
Because we are so afraid that this would happen to me in probably 8 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It can happen again. And that fear sometimes restricts us from making other investment, because now we are seeing the bank account reducing,
Yeah.
and now we are seeing the money is depleting, and we are trying to hold on to the money, but yet still make investments.
Yeah.
So again, financial wisdom is very important. Consider the cost of the investment because of inflation as well and deflation. Those are two things that it can impact on your money. That same money in the bank right now may be worth a whole lot less in time to come, or a whole lot more in time to come. Let's be optimistic. This exercise that we are giving to you week after week, day after day, we are trying to empower you.
Yes.
We are trying to give you the information that you can now say to yourself that somebody did it for me. We are giving you the power, and that is what? Investing in you, human capital. I know people ask questions about the budget. What do you think about the budget? I do not go to talk about things that I cannot control. What I want to speak to you about is your individual behavior and how it can impact collectively on you and your family, or you and your other generations to come. So my money matter. Of course it matters. In what way? It matters to you.
Correct.
It matters to your children. It matters to your other generation. And sometimes when you plant a seed, you may not see that tree, but guess what? Your children and your grandchildren may see that plant grow. But if you did not plant that seed, then how would they have benefited to pick a fruit from that tree that you planted? So again, sometimes when you're investing, think about that investment as a seed. Plant seeds. Leave behind something.